Every spring, millions of people observe the solemn resurrection of Jesus of Nazareth. And right alongside that profound religious event, we have pastel-colored eggs, marshmallow chicks, and a giant anthropomorphic rabbit hiding candy in the grass. These secular symbols are so deeply woven into modern culture that they've been an official presidential tradition for over a century. Yet, if you search the Bible from cover to cover, you will not find the Easter bunny. You won't find decorated eggs. In fact, you won't even find the word Easter, except for a single known mistranslation of the Greek word Pascha in the 1611 King James Version of Acts chapter 12. This absence has fueled viral rumors claiming the holiday is a rebranded festival for the Babylonian goddess Ishtar. But historical records show her sacred animal was the lion, not the rabbit, and her ancient rituals had nothing to do with modern spring traditions. To figure out how we actually got here, we have to treat this holiday like an archaeological dig. We need to scrape away the layers of accumulated cultural history to locate the original event. The bottom layer of that dig takes us to 1st century Judea during the spring festival of Passover, known in Hebrew as Pesach or Pascha. The earliest Christians didn't have a holiday called Easter. They observed Pascha. For them, the execution and resurrection of Jesus were the literal fulfillment of the traditional Passover lamb sacrifice. The timeline matched perfectly. Jesus was crucified exactly when Passover lambs were prepared, and resurrected 3 days later on the Feast of Firstfruits. Therefore, early believers commemorated these events annually on the specific Passover date, the 14th day of the lunar month of Nisan. There was no separate holiday. The commemoration of the resurrection was entirely embedded within the existing Jewish Passover calendar. Over the next 2 centuries, the church grew outward, and a rift formed. Some congregations insisted on keeping that specific Nisan 14 date, while others, particularly in Rome, argued the celebration should always happen on a Sunday, the day of the week the resurrection occurred. By 325 AD, Roman Emperor Constantine wanted religious unity across his empire. He convened the Council of Nicaea to settle this dispute, and several others. The council made a definitive ruling: all churches would celebrate on Sunday. In the process, they formally severed the holiday from the Jewish Passover calendar, intentionally distancing the growing Christian church from its Jewish roots. To determine the new date, they created a mathematical formula: the first Sunday after the first full moon following the spring equinox. Mixing solar and lunar cycles means the date now bounces around our Gregorian calendar, landing anywhere from late March to late April. By cutting the anchor to the original biblical timing, the council created a blank cultural slate. As the religion moved north, that open date became a magnet for local springtime traditions. When Christianity expanded out of the Mediterranean basin, it encountered established pagan fertility festivals in the Germanic and Anglo-Saxon territories. According to 8th century historians, one of those spring festivals was held in honor of an Anglo-Saxon goddess named Eostre. Over time, that localized name was absorbed into the English language as Easter. By the 1600s, Germanic folklore introduced the Osterhaus, a mythical hare that rewarded good children with colored eggs, a traditional symbol of new life. In the 1700s, German immigrants settling in Pennsylvania brought the Osterhaus and his eggs across the Atlantic, planting the tradition firmly in American soil. The name, the candy, and the egg-laying rabbits are European cultural leftovers. They were grafted onto the religious observance piece by piece over centuries of geographic migration. Today, the holiday we experience acts essentially as a cultural container, filled to the brim with accumulated traditions from across the globe. It's truly a lot like finding a priceless, ancient photograph that has been hidden inside a cheap, brightly colored plastic frame. The frame represents the bunnies, the eggs, and the word Easter itself. Those things are harmless, but they can distract from the historical masterpiece inside. When you strip away that cultural shell, you are left with Pascha, a 2,000-year-old story of the Passover lamb, deliverance, and a resurrection. Uncovering the anatomy of this holiday doesn't ruin it. It shows us exactly how human history and divine narratives inevitably blend together over centuries.